He stood in the ring, gloves raised, the world watching. But Muhammad Ali's real battles were never just about boxing. They were about humanity. They were about courage. They were about standing tall when the entire world wanted you to kneel. Ali once said, "Hating people because of their color is wrong. And it doesn't matter which color does the hating. It's just plain wrong." In a time when America was divided, when prejudice ran deep, Ali dared to say what others were too afraid to whisper. He didn't just fight opponents. He fought hate itself. Ali believed greatness wasn't just about talent. It was about heart. "The will must be stronger than the skill," he said. "You can have all the power, all the training, all the opportunity in the world, but if your spirit breaks, you lose." That's why Ali's victories were never just physical. They were proof that willpower could outpunch fear every single time. And yet, despite all the noise, all the fame, he carried a heart full of love. "I wish people would love everybody else the way they love me. It would be a better world." Behind the bold words and thunderous confidence was a man who dreamed of peace, a man who saw love as the true victory belt of life. Ali walked away from titles, from wealth, from comfort, because he had something stronger: conviction. "My principles are more important than the money or my title." When he refused the Vietnam draft, he risked everything for what he believed in. That's not rebellion. That's moral courage. And in the end, his voice still echoes. "I know where I'm going and I know the truth, and I don't have to be what you want me to be." That's the definition of freedom, to live by your truth, not someone else's expectations. Muhammad Ali wasn't just the greatest in the ring. He was the greatest example of what it means to live with purpose, power, and unshakable self-belief. He wasn't just a boxer. He was a performer, a poet, a storm of confidence wrapped in rhythm. When Muhammad Ali said, "I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast, I can't possibly be beat," it wasn't arrogance, it was prophecy. He said it with fire because he believed it with every beat of his heart. Ali understood that the first battle begins in the mind. Before he ever stepped into the ring, he had already won inside his head. That's what made him unstoppable, belief so strong, the world couldn't shake it. But what powered that belief? Vision, imagination. "The man who has no imagination has no wings," Ali once said. He didn't just see fights, he saw triumphs. He didn't just throw punches, he painted masterpieces with motion. To Ali, imagination wasn't fantasy, it was the blueprint for greatness. It's what made him dance when others stumbled, what made him float when others fell. If you are finding this story of Muhammad Ali exciting and don't want to miss more interesting stories like this, subscribe to the channel now and press the bell icon and like this video. Let's move forward. And when people told him he couldn't, Ali smiled. "Don't tell me what I can't do." He'd been hearing that since day one. Too loud, too brash, too confident. But every can't became fuel. Every doubt became energy. That's the secret of champions. They turn rejection into motivation. Yet, beneath the thunder and confidence, there was a heart that never forgot humility. The service you do for others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Ali lived this truth. He visited hospitals, stood for justice, and gave his time, not just his talent. Because at the end of the day, Ali knew strength isn't only in your fists, it's in your spirit. A man who has no imagination has no wings. And Ali, he didn't just fly, he soared. Muhammad Ali didn't just fight opponents, he fought limits. When he declared, "I'm not the greatest, I'm the double greatest. Not only do I knock him out, I pick the round," he wasn't boasting. He was setting the standard. Ali's confidence was electric. It wasn't arrogance born from ego, but certainty born from preparation. He studied his craft like a scientist studies the stars. Every move, every jab, every second in the ring was calculated artistry. He knew greatness doesn't happen by accident. It's designed, molded, and believed into existence. But behind that swagger was a dreamer with vision beyond boxing. A man who has no imagination has no wings. Ali's imagination made him more than an athlete. It made him a symbol. He imagined a world where he was more than a champion. He was a voice, a movement, a force that would inspire generations. He taught us that imagination is not escapism. It's the power to see what doesn't yet exist. Still, Ali reminded us what separates champions from dreamers. Champions have to have the skill and the will. But the will must be stronger than the skill. It's hard to be humble when you're as great as I am. Those weren't just words from Muhammad Ali. They were a challenge to the world. He wanted you to feel his confidence, to understand that greatness begins in the mind long before it's proven in the ring. Every time he spoke, he made headlines, and every time he fought, he made history. When he said, "If you even dream of beating me, you better wake up and apologize," it wasn't just bravado, it was belief. Belief so powerful, it shook the limits of what people thought a boxer could be. Ali knew his words had power. "I shook up the world, and I did it with my mouth," he said. And he did. His voice was his weapon long before his fists moved. He used it to fight injustice, to inspire courage, to remind the world that a man's spirit can be louder than the noise around him. Yet, beneath that thunder of confidence, there was wisdom too. If they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, they can sure make something out of you. Only Ali could take a simple truth and turn it into a spark of hope. He believed everyone had greatness in them, if they dared to see it. He never apologized for his pride because, as he said, "It's not bragging if you can back it up." And Ali always did. In the ring, in life, in legacy. But he also learned something deeper as years went by. The greatest victory in life is to rise above the material things that we once valued most. Through fame, fortune, and struggle, what truly kept him going wasn't the glory, it was purpose. What keeps me going is goals. That was Ali's secret. The champion never stopped fighting, not for belts, but for meaning. "I'm a fighter. I believe in the eye for an eye business. I'm no cheek turner." Those words weren't just about boxing, they were about life. Muhammad Ali never backed down. He wasn't built to surrender, not in the ring, not in the face of injustice, not against the voices that told him he couldn't. Every time the world tried to silence him, he punched back, not with his fists, but with truth, courage, and conviction. He knew that dreams didn't come to those who slept on them. "The best way to make your dreams come true," he said, "is to wake up." For Ali, every dawn was another round, another chance to prove that greatness is earned in sweat, pain, and persistence. He trained like a machine, spoke like a poet, and lived like a man who knew destiny was watching. Ali was never afraid to stand apart. "I am America. I am the part you won't recognize," he declared. "But get used to me. Black, confident, cocky, my name, not yours. My religion, not yours. My goals, my own." He represented the truth of a nation divided, yet he unified hearts through his courage. He stood for millions who couldn't stand for themselves, and he did it without apology. But Ali's wisdom went beyond the fight. He warned, "It's not the action of a few that destroys the world, but the inaction of many." He believed silence was as dangerous as hatred, that every person had a responsibility to make a difference. And as the years passed, his insight only deepened. The man who views the world the same at 50 as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. Growth, evolution, and learning, that's what made him timeless. Muhammad Ali wasn't just the greatest. He was a mirror to humanity, showing us what courage, conviction, and purpose truly mean. He fought battles beyond the boxing ring and won hearts across the world. If his words hit you today, if they stirred something inside you, don't let it fade. Live bold, dream loud, and fight for what you believe in. If you felt inspired, hit that subscribe, like, and share this video, because the world needs more fighters like Muhammad Ali, and maybe, just maybe, like you.